You ever wonder why Irish people make bean soup with only 239 beans? Because one more, and it'll be too farty. It's backyard lawn cutting day. And yes, I still do not have a weed whacker, so won't be cleaning up around the fence and the edging. Edited out a lot of the parts of this where I'm off camera and can't really be seen. Didn't see the point in that, just taking up time and space, etc. Yeah, I wish I could mow this fast. That would be awesome. But alas, I am only human. Well, I guess that one's not getting washed. Grab your favorite beverage and get yourself comfortable. It's Webby story time. Hi, Why Not Webby fans? It's good to pretend I see you, because of course I can't. Anyway, today I want to share a story with you that goes all the way back to when I was 6 years old, a first grader.
Hello there, this is your old pal Grover.
The title of this story is called The Bike Ride. I have to put a disclaimer here before I start, just in case my older brother sees this video, okay? Hey, bro. I'm not sure if I ever told you about this, of course, years after the fact. But you remember when we lived at the foot of Diamond Head in that area and you had a bicycle? And I would run off with your bike a lot and you got mad about that and I got in trouble for it and I was told not to do it again and I did. What you probably don't know is one day you almost lost your bicycle.
If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
And your little brother. Okay. So anyway, please find it in your heart to forgive me. Okay, I'm ready to jump into the story now. Get serious here. So going all the way back to when I was a little 6-year-old Webby, prior to the nickname, of course, there was only one bicycle for us kids, and I think probably the only bike in the family, and that was my brother's. And of course, my friends had bicycles, and I wanted to run around the neighborhood with them, but physically running and trying to keep up with bicycles, that wasn't very practical. So anyway, my friend, if I remember his name, was Rodney. He lived up the street from us. Anyway, he had one of those, banana seat bikes with the long handles. And my brother's bike was, did it have any speeds on it? I don't remember if it did. But anyway, it was one of those old bikes where you pedal like any other bike to go forward, but to stop, your brakes, you had to pedal backwards and it would put the brakes on. These mechanisms, unfortunately, at times would malfunction and the pedals would start turning on their own. And it's hard to stop them when that happens. And anyway, I have since been past that house where we used to live. I mean, long after, as an adult, I went driving by there and saw that the streets were now nicely paved back when we lived there. They were not paved very nicely. There were a lot of potholes and, broken tar and rocks everywhere. So if you can picture this, okay, a very poorly maintained road, and it was on an incline. Yeah, I don't think our street was too steep. I mean, it was a good maybe 15 degrees or less. But this one particular day when I went riding with my friend, we went up the street and took a left, and I don't know how many streets over, but we went down the road and it was pretty steep. And it would have been fine because, we get to an intersection, we stop, make sure it's clear, whatever else. Even as little kids, we knew some safety rules, right? Well, in this particular day, my friend and I were racing each other down the hill, and he's ahead of me, so I'm pedaling as fast as I can. Suddenly, I feel the pedals pedaling themselves, and my feet get kind of hit off of the pedals. So I'm kind of riding with my feet off to the side, and the bike's just picking up speed as it pedals on its own. And I see the intersection coming up. My friend, seeing that I'm catching up to him, he doesn't stop like normal. He looks both ways as he's approaching that intersection, flies right through it. And I'm over there thinking, okay, I need to stop this bike. I need to get the brakes on. But every time I try to get my feet on the pedals, they're getting banged up and everything. So I realized I have two choices. Either fall to stop, skin myself up, and get bloodied a little bit and hurt, scraping on the ground. Or number two, take my chances and zip through that intersection. Guess which choice a 6-year-old made? Yeah, went right through. I tell you what, it was only by the grace of God watching over me that I didn't die that day, because I tell you what, I was close. There was a car coming from my right towards the mountain. The other side was clear. There was no cars across the street or behind me. But as I went across, this car was approaching. Fortunately, the driver saw me. He slams on his brake. I hear screeching as he's approaching me, and I'm trying to dodge around him, right? Gets so close. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be it. And it was at that moment that as a 6-year-old, I realized, if I get hit, the better choice would have been to maybe get scraped up and bumped, falling on the potholed street before the intersection. Kind of late now, but so anyway, I made it through, and I heard some choice words being shouted at me.
Are you sure it isn't time for a colorful metaphor?
I remember one of them being dumb kid, and some other expletives that I don't want to repeat on this channel. And then he, of course, screeched his wheels and drove off. But I'll tell you what, I'm so glad that he was able to stop and not hit me, because if he had, yeah, that was the first time looking back on life that I believe God spared my life. And I've had other close calls, and maybe I'll tell you about them some other time, but this was a particularly, should I use the word exciting time for me? Wait, that's not right, because when you say exciting, it usually means it was something good. Exhilarating, I guess. Adrenaline was pumping for sure. And when we got across, we continued our bike ride. We went around the neighborhood. Anyway, point is, and bro, sorry, but at least I brought the bike back unharmed. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember where we went, but that day stood out because of that. Anyway, so that's what almost happened to your bicycle, and sorry, apologize decades later, but the bike wasn't as nice as the 10-speed you got when we were in Chofu anyway, right? So, yeah. Okay, so that's it for this story today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Have you ever done anything poorly chosen like I did, let me know in the comments, all right? And I'll see you on the next one.